Welcome to the political scene. My name is Brandy, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Todd Michael Jackson and Caitlin Jones. On today's episode, we are going to be discussing gerrymandering, mRNA, and so much more. Thanks for joining us. So hi, Caitlin. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. So thank you again for having me, as always. I am currently an elected delegate for Assembly District 39, and I'm a Hesperia School Board candidate for Area 3. I have a plethora of other hats I wear, including being the comms director for Desert Democracy Project and Democratas del Pueblo.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Very
I can't
cool.
wait to learn more about all of that.
Thank you. Something that a lot of us have been talking about on the left side of the aisle is how Texas has been pulling out all the stops to do a new district map with gerrymandering as the main avenue of achieving that. In order for them, though, to be able to make that happen, they have to have all of the Texas Republicans and Democrats come together and take a vote. And there has to be a quorum. But all of the Texas Democrats have left to other parts of the country, which, no quorum, no vote. But that has triggered the Texas Republicans to then take their own vote in pretty much releasing bench warrants for the Texas Democrats to arrest them and bring them back. However, bench warrants don't go beyond the state of Texas. It's only within its own borders. So kind of a waste of time. But it's just so interesting to me how Trump says, I need 5 seats this time around, just like the first time he said, I need 11,000 votes in Georgia.
Right.
And now he needs 5 seats to maintain control in the House and pretty much rig the midterms next year.
Right.
And Texas says, okay, and what else do you need, sir?
Right.
I'm very proud, though, of my party, of Texas Democrats, for standing tall, as they say, and not backing down.
Right.
They got their stuff together and left. And Texas now, certain legislators are even trying to criminalize those Texas Democrats from getting any donations or fundraising of any sort, as they're now calling it bribery. So they really are coming after a lot of campaign methods and a lot of methods to maintain the little bit of, I don't want to say power, but the little bit of decorum and I guess I would say power, political power that they do have. They were voted in to do their job, and now people who are supposed to be colleagues are trying to get them arrested and thrown in jail.
Right. And the conservatives are going to get more and more desperate as time goes on. We are in a new cycle, and people don't realize that. There are much more old souls incarnating at this time. So you have like Gen Z, only 19% of Gen Z identifies as conservative. We only have 19% of a whole generation of people identifying as conservative. These conservatives are going to have to work harder and harder and rig the system more and more to stay in power so they can have that 19% rule the 81%. And that's what they're going to try to do. And they don't care how they do it. Because when you are a young soul, you want power. And the conservatives are young souls that want power. They strive for that. They strive for money, wealth, and power. While older souls, the Democrats, the liberals, are fighting for the human rights, fighting for the people, fighting for equality for all, and trying to pass legislation that helps people, doesn't punish people. Right. And when you have that situation where the president, the Senate, and the House are all led by Republicans, you're going to have them rigging the election every time they can, as much as they can, to stay in it, to keep that power, because Texas can go purple real easy, and they don't want that to happen. So they're going to try to do everything they can in their power, and it's just going to get worse for them. They don't realize it, but it's a losing battle. As we become more educated as a society, then the ability of the conservatives, the young souls, to stay in power becomes less and less. And realistically, young souls should never be in power of anything.
Yeah. And I mean, they operate out of fear, like we've touched on before. And that would be a huge inclination as to maybe why they're trying to dismantle the Department of Education. And as of today, or yesterday, the White House removed a couple sections from Article 1 of the Constitution. I believe it's Section 8 and 9. I said this back in February as well, though, when I had this feeling to just check the White House website to see the Constitution, and they only post the first 10 amendments. Not all 20-something amendments, and definitely not the 14th, and definitely not the ones that say, you know, we have more freedoms than they want us to have.
Right.
So, I mean, as happy as I am that people are starting to, like, kind of notice and educate themselves while the Department of Education is being dismantled, I wish that, you know, sometimes we were a little bit faster in spreading the word and getting word out, because, you know, we can all do a trending TikTok dance that spreads like wildfire overnight. But if we got this information out the same way we got out, you know, Dubai chocolate and all these other cool things, would we still be this far behind in checking this administration?
I do a lot of rideshare, and a lot of people are uneducated on the political system. They don't know what's happening at all. And when I realized that, I'm like, dang, we're kind of in a hole right now, because so many people don't know what's happening. They're not paying attention. They're caught up in work. They're caught up in the little time they do have, they entertain themselves, you know? So it's hard to explain what's happening when they realize what's happening. Like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's crazy. And you will realize it's the same play over and over and over. The young souls, fear, judgment, punishment. They'll put laws in to hurt people, but not to help people. Preventatively or in like criminally. So when you look at that, it plays over. It's a young soul mentality, and they're going to go after the old souls instead of learning from the old souls of love and compassion, like Jesus taught. They're going to be on the side of religion and the dogma and the fear of judgment and punishment within it. They'll gravitate towards that, not the love and acceptance.
Right. And again, it's really just the way they want to interpret things to just push certain things through.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, recently the Trump administration is starting to officially take steps to criminalize homelessness. I don't know what part of being a Christian nation they found this in there, but I, as someone who helps take care of the unhoused, I could never in my wildest dreams imagine looking at someone who has absolutely nothing and say, and now I'm taking you to jail. And as someone who's been to jail, it's unnecessary that, you know, those institutions, as messed up as the system may be, are there for, you know, criminals, people who actually choose to do wrong. And sometimes people end up on the street because, you know, one missed paycheck or a medical emergency. And now we're going to criminalize them.
It's for a lack of resources.
And in turn, they want to criminalize the nonprofits that help them as well.
Oh, my goodness.
So that, again, not for humanity, against humanity. Crimes against humanity. So people don't realize that we come here hundreds of times. And when a soul gets to the end of its learning phase, one of the last phases we go through is a homeless phase, where we are incarnated in a situation to where we're like on bumpers and we have to stay within these confines. And we end up having to be homeless so that we can learn to trust source 100%. That's the final stage. So a lot of these people are master class as far as their soul development. And we all have to go through this. Because certain religions have a phase where you are homeless, or you have nothing, you give up all your material goods. We don't have that in the Christian religion. So a soul has to do it on its own. It incarnates here and then has to go through that phase where it's 100% reliant on source. Once you go through that and you're happy, then you realize that you can trust source 100% and you graduated. There are some people that are homeless because they're on drugs or this, that, and the other, they're criminals, whatever. But a lot of them are there because they asked to be there.
As a soul, that's
like the final test. Like Spartans, they would put their kids out in the wilderness and they had to live out there for a week and then make it back on their own. That's the same thing. You have this homeless phase within your soul development that the soul's journey is very long. It's hundreds of lifetimes. And then when you go through that, then you've succeeded. So criminalizing a homeless person is silly. He's literally criminalizing future potentials of himself because our souls have to go through a chapter or two of that just so we can learn that full trust in source.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel bad for people who don't understand those that are unhoused and homeless. You know, I used to be homeless multiple times in my life, and I don't regret it. I don't pity myself. I'm very grateful and really humbled that I was able to make it out. I know not a lot of people do. And that's why I want to help them and service them and give them as many resources as possible. You guys know being in the high desert really doesn't exist.
Right.
So locally, politically, something that me and other members of the coalition are trying to do is work with the city of Victorville. And I really would like to get Adelanto involved as well because they do also have an unhoused population that needs help. I want to start getting, easier permits for resources to come out and actually service them and meet them where they are. Out here, we don't have as much transportation as it is.
Right.
So how can we help uplift our fellow man that also deserves the same life that we live up here? It's not maybe the most cushiest life up here for some, but it's a life that is lived happily and deserves to be embraced and supported.
Right. Yeah.
Bottom line.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people that
Thank you.
have the idea that, being homeless is bad, because they're not pulling their weight. We're not living up to the capitalistic ideal. Right. And that's everything. We're capitalists, we're American, and that's where we're supposed to be. And it's like, no, we're here to learn unconditional love and to bring back experiences. This capitalist ideal doesn't exist where our soul exists. We spend 99% of our time, our soul spends 99% of their time on this other veil, coming here just for a short amount of time to learn what it needs to learn and go back home. We're not here to be corporate slaves. We're not here to pull our weight. We're here to learn compassion for each other. That's the whole point. And if you don't have compassion for others, you're coming back. Just know that. Because God deserves the best version of your soul, not the worst.
Yeah, and in turn, while you're on earth, you also deserve to be the best version of yourself. That includes not living in fear and hate and punishment and judgment, because who wants to live like that? I know I don't. Maybe it's a cultural thing or a spiritual. I don't like living my life in judgment.
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't. Like, why sit here and put somebody down when... Even if you don't have the resources, you have the ability to vocalize love for them. You have the ability to remind them that they're seen. And no matter their situation or circumstance, they're still whole in the eyes of God or whoever they believe that their creator is. And to make somebody who just needs that and is in that space and in the situation where they really just need a hand up, I personally don't know what the solution would be. I know in the policy, the Trump administration had noted that they're going to be putting the homeless population, portions of the homeless population, in mental institutions and things of that nature. And as much as the homeless and unhoused population may need those services, it's not voluntary. So they're being forced into those institutions. And then who knows what other rights are being stripped of them while they're there.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing is they don't want you living without working. You need to, and that's the problem, is that these young souls always put corporations and money over humans and freedom. And that's the problem. They should be standing up to the corporations. When they get back home, that corporation isn't going to be there to save you. But all the people you punish to serve that corporation will be waiting for you. And all the repercussions that come with it, that karma that comes with it. So with Trump attacking the homeless people, LGBTQ, China, Mexicans, right? All these people, where's his soul going next to learn? It could go anywhere because our soul will go where it's overly scrutinized in the past, so it can learn through firsthand knowledge of the pain. So where would he go first? He's attacked so many groups, so many individuals, so many groups of people. Where would he start? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know anything about humanity. He's a very, very young soul, and he's going to have a rude awakening because he was given so much power and being such a young soul. It doesn't happen very often, because all the people that he hurt or punished on his ideals, he'll feel every single one of them by the millions.
Well, I guess there's a silver lining in everything.
There is.
But
for me, I do believe I stand by this, that everything happens for a reason and a purpose. So this too is unfolding exactly as it is supposed to, because I don't believe in mistakes.
Right.
And so this is helping the collective consciousness to shift. This isn't just about the individuals. This is about the whole collective, just the whole world,
Right.
really, because this is a war on consciousness, on energy, on love, on really our thoughts and our mind and how we show up. This is a war on our souls.
Right. It's almost like the Dark Ages brought the Renaissance. World War II brought, a more loving Germany. You know what I'm saying? We have to go through this too, and we have to learn get our comeuppance. So when we realize that everything's going as planned, it's going to awaken a lot of people.
Correct.
Because when you have two sides pulling equally, they can argue both sides. When one side lets go of the rope, the other side falls.
Yeah.
So when you see how bad it gets, then people start waking up and being like, wait, this is not what I voted for. We have to go the other way.
That's a really
And
good
even if they
analogy.
gerrymander, 19%, if they did the math already on that. If 19% was conservative, there'd be no red states. 0. Even the reddest of red states would not be red. It would be blue because only 19% identify as conservative. That's where it is now. With new knowledge coming out, that number might even slightly lower.
Oh,
So-
I 100% believe that. And I mean, here's to having hope, you know? I really want younger people, and I say that like I'm so old, but I guess being considered elder Gen Z, I would like the rest of my generation to, vote like our lives depended on it, because it does. Our ancestors, I tell everyone, our ancestors, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, no matter where you fall in the line of life, our ancestors didn't fight for us to vote for us to just sit at home.
Right.
At
Right.
all.
Right.
Ever. Even if you're not familiar with something, with the way technology is now, and the avid and ample access that we have to information, there's really not too hefty of an excuse to not use that right while we have it, especially us as women. The SAVE Act already came out, or is coming out, rolling out, to where women can't vote if they have a different last name than what's on their birth certificate.
Right.
And that affects everyone from trans women, married women, people who are widowed.
Yes.
How is that going to secure our future in being able to vote?
Right. They
So-
talked about that. Yes. I think it was 70% of women changed their last name.
Yeah.
So they just automatically can't vote. They have to jump through more hoops,
Right.
keeping women from voting to keep the Republicans in power. That's the whole point, to keep the conservative ideal in power of fear, judgment, and punishment.
Because there's some people who don't even want to go through the hassle, and then to add more and more red tape and blocks, and it's just, I see that it's just going to go backwards.
Yeah, it's gendered gerrymandering,
Right.
essentially.
Right. And the thing is when things get really bad, people fight back. So I think this is a wake-up call for Gen Z. The rights, what rights are left when you come into that voting mentality,
Right.
you have to fight for them. When you don't have things, you fight for them, you cherish them. Thing is with Gen Z millennials, it was already kind of handed to them, because we had fought for that before.
Right.
Now it's just kind of handed, and you're like, whatever. Eventually, it'd be like, wait, we used to have that right. Now we don't. Yes, now you have to step up.
Right.
You have to step up and do something about it. You pro-human, cool, you're pro-God. If you're pro-corporation, pro-power, pro-hate, you're not pro-God. I don't care what religion you are.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you can't vote, not even for your own best interests or your neighbors or your child's or anybody else, then, those are the type of people that were like, okay, maybe you can stay at home and the rest of us can wake up. And we got to remember that mail-in ballots right now still exist. And we have all these options to make sure that the person that sits in that seat that represents us knows who we are, knows the way we live, and goes to Washington, D.C. with that in mind, with us in mind.
Right.
I've never been one to sit here and be super, super critical of any one specific person, but for our region, it's Jay Obernolte. And let me tell you, the emails that he sends out is 100% just gaslighting his constituents. Like what he does, and then he types the exact opposite and spews that and makes people believe that, I'll keep me in the seat. I really am doing what's best for you. Meanwhile, we still don't have jobs. We still don't have a trauma center. We still don't have resources that we need. When are we going to get a university? When are we going to get something beyond? And shout out to BBC, you guys are great, but we need something that can still exactly. I don't want to see people still getting hurt on the cajon because they're just trying to get an education.
Right. And that's one of the things is that, and that's a real problem in this country is you have the older souls who know better, kind of interested, kind of not interested. You know, they're caught up in their own lives. But then you have the right. They don't even know. They don't even know what's happening. You know, Trump could take your rights away, and Fox News is going to attack some Democrat somewhere else. They're dingling keys over here. So you don't know what's happening. They're like, Trump didn't do that. I'm like, yes, he did. Go look it up. Well, I didn't see that on Fox News. I know you didn't see it on Fox News. They don't care about that. Yeah. They care about putting Obama in jail or something. Like, what the heck is that about? You know, it's like, it's just a vendetta ride. It's like a vendetta ride. And they don't know what's happening because Fox News is supported by corporations, is spinning everything to make it look like the conservatives are on their side, and they're actually not. They're not helping them at all. You know, if you're human, conservatives are not pro-human. Just know that.
Right.
Right.
They're not pro-human, no. And I hate to break it to everybody, but they're also not pro-life. They're pro-birth, and they're pro-lobbyism to get more children alive so we can bring back child labor.
Yes,
that's already rolling out in so many different southern states and red states. I mean, I called it back when Roe v. Wade was overturned. I was like, oh, they're going to have the kids back in the factories.
Right.
That's why they keep talking about bringing manufacturing back here.
Because what? Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Because what happens? Profits go up because you pay kids less. Yes. They work hard. They take the jobs that nobody wants for less money. And the people in the suits make more money. Yep. The people who own the stocks make more money on your children. They want us to be breeders for corporations. That's what America's turned into, breeders for corporations.
100%.
And it's sad because the corporations are not the way of the future. The way of future is love and compassion, understanding corporations should be working for humanity, not exploiting it. And that's why we don't have interstellar travel. Source allows us to have certain information at certain times. We will never have that because we would screw up any classroom we found. Any other planet that we found that was behind us, our corporations would be there and exploiting them. It's quick as shit.
Elon would be like, guess what I found? We'd be like, no, you didn't.
The current state of humanity and the collective consciousness is not ready for that.
In a year they'll be making shoes. Just know that.
Oh,
yes.
No.
Yeah.
I don't even wear them as it is. I ground in the grass, guys. But yeah, I really, I think my hope, especially this election cycle going around for 26 locally, is to remind people and to show people that it's always the Democrats showing up to help feed the needy and house and clothe people. It's always the Democrats showing up to make sure that you know your rights and are you registered to vote and have you changed your address? Have you updated anything? Right. Yeah. Let's make sure that you have every right possible right now. Because if we do get a special election, if Newsom does say, okay, Texas, you want to do that gerrymandering? Guess what? We'll do the same thing. Have a little special election, which it always goes the way we want it to go. And then we can gerrymander right back and sweep the House with 9 seats democratically with everyone on our side of the aisle.
Right.
Two could play that game. I don't want it to have to get that petty, but we're California. We're the 4th largest economy. I don't know.
I know.
You know, this is FAFO.
Right.
Fuck around and find out.
I know.
Come see about us, you know?
Exactly. So, like I said, conservatives are never for humanity, even preventative. So you're going to talk about something else, right? That you want to bring to our attention.
The mRNA. So let's talk about that because here on the political scene, we educate, we share, and we learn, and we do it together. So let's break that down.
So 2 things that are kind of interconnected. As a lot of people know, there's been Medicaid cuts through the Big Beautiful Bill. And with that comes the authorization to essentially RFK Jr. To say, run with that as you will. And with that, he has halted $500 million worth of mRNA technology research. mRNA technology research helped bring us the Pfizer and Moderna COVID vaccines as quick as we had them, which oddly enough during Trump's first term, he wanted to take all the credit for it. He kept calling it the Trump vaccine and the Trump cure. But now that we're this far along, it's actually we're going to stop all research because we don't trust it. Wow. But when you put the vaccine out, you took the vaccine on live TV in your arm.
Exactly.
So why would we stop research? It's not just Democrats who benefit from vaccines and the research. It's also kids with cancer in red states whose parents voted for you that you're also taking that lifeline away from.
Right.
What are we supposed to do and go from there in terms of advancing our medical research?
Right. And that's the conservative mentality. It's not for humans. It's literally for the bottom dollar. Greed, the love of money is the root of all evil. And they have the love of money. But yet the religious right votes for them. I was like, wait, you messed up. You screwed up. You're coming back. Yeah. But the thing is that the whole thing with COVID, there was a CDC office in Wuhan, China. And Trump, to save a couple bucks, closed it. He closed a couple others too. We could have feet on the ground right there saying how bad it was and shutting off the border before it entered, not after it entered. And that was the problem. He's always, it's like those bad companies that don't have safety protections for their employees. Right. That's what Trump is. Safety isn't really important for the human, because that's money. And really, you're just people. Who cares? Right? Just
disposable. Doesn't matter.
Disposable. Your corporate fodder is all you are. Right? We're going to exploit you, or you're going to invest in us. One or the other. That's all you're good for. And when you see life that way, cheap, you don't have a group of people that are on the side of compassion and love. It's going to be devastating for them on the other side of the veil. Because that is literally what we're here to learn. And we keep coming back until we do. And these people that are like, who cares? I'm dead. When you die is when it matters. This is imagine taking a driving class. You got all your work, all your book, and you do all your tests, and then you have driver's training, right, behind the wheel. Earth is just a driving test you take at the DMV. That little 15-minute test that you take, well, all the conservatives are hitting all the cones, hitting all the curbs, and hitting all the bumpers of all the other cars, and they don't realize it. This Earth school classroom is just the DMV test. All that work you put on the other side of the veil, you put it right here, you did nothing right. You did everything wrong. And that's the problem. Yeah.
Well, too bad it's at our expense that we have to deal with their lessons and spiritual warfare.
Yes.
I hope we make it out on the other side of this. I know that spiritually and politically, there's only one way to go through this. You know, the only way to do this is together. And I've told a lot of people up here that the way that policies are being shaped, he's only forcing us to be closer together. No Department of Education, okay, we'll just learn from the elders. Taking away Medicare and things like that, and different hospital funding, okay, we'll just talk to the nurses and the people who lived off the land and the natives, and that's fine. We'll just learn how to do it ourselves. And then how will you hurt us?
Exactly.
Right. Makes us more self-reliant. And that's the funny part is like so many Republicans say, oh, these Democrats, these liberals are going to take our Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security. I'm like, wait, the bleeding heart liberals that want to take care of everybody are going to take away the money from the people who need it the most? Where are you learning this from? Right-wing media. They tell you the opposite of what's actually going to happen.
Yeah, so that way, whenever they hear something, it's like a trigger. Right. And they've been conditioned to be like, oh, that's the Democrats. Right. No, I've had conversations with people that are Native American conservatives, which I know. Right. Oxymoron. But I've told them that, other Native American elected officials, I know, right?
I'm sorry.
I know. We just got to stew with it.
I know.
But they've said, elected officials have said, the only crime that people who are undocumented have committed is not having $5 million for Trump's gold card. And I brought that up to another conservative person who's Native. They were like, I've never heard that. I said, what? Yeah, that's definitely, he just said it on TV and said it as he's getting on airport. No, I haven't heard that. Yeah. And I feel like, especially for someone like a Native American who, normally from the experiences I've had, they usually have their finger on the pulse when it comes to immigration and naturalization and things like that, naturally so. And to hear that they only know that Trump is cleaning things up and they don't see the people in the streets getting ripped out of their homes and stuff like that. I'm just
Right,
shocked.
They only know about the Democrats that are trying to stop them.
Yeah, right.
Right, they're trying to stop they're in the way of the law. It's like, no, wait, they're stopping people from harming other people.
Right.
But there's protect and serve, and there's hunt and harm. We're not letting people to hunt and harm. And I tell people, when you see a person, you can't prejudge them. You don't know the soul inside, right? So, you can't say all white people are good or bad. All black people are good or bad. Right. All Asian people are good or bad, right? And you have that conservative Native American. He's a young soul, Native American. Young souls always gravitate towards fear, judgment, punishment. An old soul watches Fox News and is like, oh my God, this is horrible. You're attacking all these people. You're not looking for solutions. You're finding blame. Right. You're literally telling me what to think. They can see it. A young soul's like, give me more. Give me more. I love this. Yet we're going to punish these people. Yeah. They love that punishment and not realizing you were supposed to learn to turn the other cheek. You were supposed to learn to turn the other cheek and learn from the older souls. But they're not doing either. Right.
Yeah. If you can't love your neighbor, at least protect them.
Right.
At least, see yourself in your fellow neighbor, in your fellow man, and consider, oh, do I want this done to me? If you don't want it done to you, it's literally the golden rule. If you don't want to be treated that way, don't vote for it.
Right. And that's the thing is that when you protect your neighbor, you are protecting God, because every experience that person has goes to God. So if you protect this person, cool. You did your due diligence, protecting their rights, protecting their humanity. If you're like, no, I'm going to turn them in, I'm going to send them on to some gulag somewhere, right? You're going to be part of that because you created that. You created that situation. Well, they created it by being here. God's allowed to wander wherever it wants, and every soul is a piece of God. Just know that. There is no borders in heaven. On the other side of the veil, there is no America. There's no border between Mexico and the United States. That doesn't exist. That's created out of fear. Right. And on the other side of the veil, there is no fear.
Yeah. There's no God pulling up your voting record and being like, hey, so I remember this one time. It's more about the intention. Right. God's not going to be like, okay, so on HR 1, you said no and then yes. And then it's more like, hey, you voted to criminalize people who need your help, whether it's someone that's undocumented or unhoused. Right. And you voted to make their life harder. Right. And you put those policies in place and you helped enforce those policies. Right. And then you doubled down and gave those people punishment for existing.
And imagine the people that lied to them and said, you're voting to get rid of MS-13 members only. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I'm going to vote for that. But wait a second. Those people lied to you. Those people that lied, they're like, well, I didn't vote. I didn't do it. Yes, you did. Yeah. You allowed the words to come out. Your intent came out. Every person that suffers because of your words is replayed for you and is added to your karmic cycle. So just know that, Fox News hosts.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where the state of the world is at right now. Yeah. We have a long way to go, but making sure that people stay educated and know their rights. And I think my biggest takeaway right now for people is to find the Constitution, read all, I believe it's 27 amendments, read them, know them, save them to your phone, print them, have a paper, because they're dismissing it and erasing it piece by piece by piece. Right. They're taking your rights right in front of you. Right. They're rewriting America and our history and our standards and our values.
Right.
And that's why conversations like this are so important, because it does help to educate those that just genuinely just didn't know. It's I think a lot of it is naivety. That's what I see. Right. I see that mostly, that once people realize what they voted for or how they voted, a lot of times there's a lot of regret going on right now because of the misunderstandings, because of the misinformation, the false information, the lack of truth, and people just don't know. And I always go back to forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Right. And that's not a spiritual bypass. That's really how I feel in my heart of hearts, because just like Anne Frank said, in spite of everything, I do believe that people really are good at heart. I have to believe that at the very core essence, because God is all there is. And so if we are all one with God, then each of these people are also beings of God. Right. They're misguided. They're younger. They are underdeveloped. Right. You know?
Wow, good way to put it.
And so when I can look at it like that, that's why I don't have hatred for anybody. I have like, oh my gosh, are you serious? You can really think like that? You can really act like that? And yes, I do have judgments that I'm working on, believe me.
I judge the action.
I judge the action.
How can you think that? Right.
Yeah. Part of my spiritual practice has been forgiveness for myself for judging people who judge others so harshly and act on that.
Right.
But yet that's still me sitting in judgment.
I understand.
Oh, clock it. Wow, that's a bar.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for being on this show. And thank you guys for joining us. This is The Political Scene, where we talk about all things, where we learn, educate, and we do it together. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.